the Quezon City Mission is right in the heart of Luzon, which is kind of the big main island. It's next to Manila, but the Manila temple is in our mission. So you get to go and visit at every transfer, and it's a huge blessing. With that come some really cool things that are unique to the mission, and those are called temple tours. So every once in a while, I want to say it's every month, it might be every transfer, but you have an opportunity to invite your investigators to come along with you, bring their families and their friends to see the temple. And so everybody piles up, you rent a jeepney or something like that, and they drive up the hour or so to go to the temple, and then you spend time walking around the grounds. The sister missionaries were the ones, when I was in the mission, that would stand around and give a presentation of eternal families and ordinances, baptisms for the dead, things like that, answer investigators' questions. And then at the end, they would come down to the visitor center and they would play this video and bear their testimonies. And it was always a very powerful experience. I can remember one time teaching an investigator who came, and he, after that trip, he took a picture of the temple and said, "This is who I am now." And it was kind of his decision to join the church was based off of that temple tour and the spirit that he felt there. And it's an amazing experience. So that's something that's really unique to the mission. There's a wide variety of the types of places you can go. Because it's right in the middle of Manila, you'll have some areas that are very, very city-like. And the way that Manila is set up is different than any city you've ever seen. People are literally living on top of each other in plywood shacks and stuff like that. So it's a different experience going around and teaching in those places. Nearly everyone speaks Tagalog. That's the language that just about everybody speaks. You'll bump into a couple of people that speak Visaya or Kapampangan or stuff like that, but for the most part, you're going to talk Tagalog to just about everybody. If you go into what's called the Bukid, or like the more rural areas, then there will be a couple of people that will speak Visaya a little bit more, but for the most part, it's Tagalog. So study up well. The stake sizes are all very different as far as they go. You've got some great stakes and some great wards. And then in some of the more rural areas, you have some really great branches with some of the most fantastic members that you've ever known. I remember, again, on this island of Mindoro, they have a ward, but they also have some farther areas where they have these little branches with maybe 25 to 30 members. At least that's what it was like when I was there, and it was just so cool. It was the coolest place because, at least on this island, it's an island and you're living on the coast. We did have an opportunity to baptize in the ocean, and that was a really neat experience for me. But at the same time, just because you can baptize in the ocean does not mean that you always should baptize in the ocean. I remember one time, this was the one time that I got to baptize in the ocean. We were baptizing a little girl who, maybe 10 years old or so, part of this family that we were baptizing, and she was terrified of these huge waves coming in, and so here we are trying to have this reverent, beautiful scene, where we're baptizing her in the ocean, and she's screaming and be like, "Oh, don't drown me," It was great. So we just said the ordinance words and then kind of walked out and then just dunked her. It worked. It was fine, but it was, maybe not the most ideal. So just know, unless you know it's going to be a very calm and a very peaceful day, baptize him in a font. It's just better for everyone.